So Trump is making an attempt to prosecute his political opponents as a result of this recent shooting. He's back to trying to attack former FBI Director James Comey, who investigated him with the Russia thing and everything else that went on there. We're going to read this bombshell report where turns out that James Comey has been indicted for a second time. It's not clear about what yet. This is brand new information. Came out less than an hour ago. I'm bringing it to you live. It was 20 minutes since I got home from school, so, you're really my first priority here. So we're going to read this CNN article talking about it. We're going to watch a video discussing it, and let's get right into it. But before we get right into it, please like and subscribe. It helps out the channel quite a bit and helps me push it back against MAGA, who's trying to get rid of free speech, disliking my videos, stuff like that. So, go ahead and do that. I appreciate you. Every single one of you. All right, so let's get right into it. So it says, former FBI Director James Comey was indicted Tuesday over a photo of seashells officials said threatened President Donald Trump. If you don't remember this, I'm going to put a picture of those on screen. I'll have those on screen later if you want to look carefully at that. But what you're seeing on screen right now is a picture of some shells that he arranged in a pattern that says 8647. Basically, the 86 means like slang for to get rid of or, maybe even to kill in the mafia. And then 47 obviously means Trump because he's the 47th president. Maybe this isn't the coolest thing to post, but I will remind you, he posted this just about a year ago. This was a year ago. They freaked out about this a year ago and said, oh my God, and they indicted him a year ago. But we're back indicting him again, clearly, because that didn't go anywhere. But we're back to doing that because Trump, I think, is trying to use this to attack free speech. I think maybe we should talk about the idea that this was possibly staged to attack the free press, so that's not great. But so let's continue. So basically, they said that it's marking the they said that it's threatening President Donald J. Trump, marking the administration's second attempt to prosecute one of his largest political opponents, 3 sources told CNN. Trump has long pressed for his political adversaries to face charges, including the former FBI director he sees as a key leader in the perceived effort to weaponize, in quotes, the justice system. Last May, Comey posted a photo on social media of shells on a beach, writing out the numbers 8647, which critics referred to as taking out or killing Trump, basically what I just explained there. Alright, here's the picture again. When used as slang, the number 86 can refer to getting rid of or tossing something out. Trump is currently the 47th president. Comey posted the photo of the shells, writing in the caption, "Cool shell formation I found on a walk." Almost immediately following his request, Republicans and the administration officials went full bore in their criticism of Comey at the time, and then Department of Homeland Security Kristi Noem announcing Comey would be investigated by the Secret Service over what she said was a call for the assassination of Trump. The Secret Service brought Comey in for an hours-long interview with agents in Washington, D.C., an uncommon step by the agency over a non-specific threat. Comey told the investigators he saw the shells on the beach in North Carolina. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard told Fox following Comey's post that the former director should be put behind bars for this, and that she was very concerned for Trump's life because he posted a photo of some shells on the beach. I would also be pretty scared if somebody sent me a picture of some shells on the beach. Comey removed the post the same day, writing on social media that he assumed the shells represented a political message, but didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. I don't believe that, but I also don't blame him. It is free speech in the end, and it's clear that this wasn't an attack on him in any way. Trump, that is. It, quote, "It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down." Legal and security experts have told CNN that such a case against Comey may be fruitless, especially given the country's free speech protections. Now we're going to react to this video of Mr. Moss reacting to this indictment, so let's get right into that.
Friggin' National Security Attorney Bradley Moss. Bradley, thanks for being with us. What is your reaction to this news? James Comey indicted for a second time.
If at first you don't succeed, try again, Donald. Eventually you'll get him. Look, we're waiting to hear, as Caitlin just noted, where this was even brought and what the charges are. 2 of the likely angles that she mentioned there, if they were to try that again, whether it's the perjury issue that was tried in the Eastern District of Virginia, or if it's that photo with the 8647, if they try to bring up some kind of threat against the president, prosecution along those lines. Those would be a joke. The pretrial motions write themselves. A third-year law student can get those tossed, let alone the top team he'll have defending him. What we don't know, and what will be interesting to see is this the first shot coming out of South Florida, where we know there's this ongoing attempt by Trump allies in the Justice Department to try to bring some sort of grand conspiracy charge dating all the way back to 2016 and Crossfire Hurricane and the intelligence community assessment of 2017. They are finally trying to bring that case. It'll be fascinating to see if they are. It's riddled with legal problems. Waiting to see what the indictment shows, but I am not by any means impressed by this maneuver.
Okay, so, I think it's interesting what he said. He basically just kind of, he says a more advanced version of what I said. I think it's not going to go anywhere, and if it does, it's going to be some sort of grand conspiracy indictment. I think it's going to go nowhere. As he just said, there's no real merit to it. They already tried this last year, and that's what he said about if you try again, if you fail. It's obviously not going anywhere, and I guess they really don't like that. Now, we're going to keep reading, and we're going to learn a bit about the optics of this. So, the case against Comey marks a newly reinvigorated effort by Trump's Department of Justice to convince the former director, who became a staunch critic of the president following his firing by Trump in 2017 over the Russia meddling investigation. In September of last year, the Justice Department brought charges against Comey, accusing him of lying to Congress over leaks to the press. The case was dismissed late last year by a federal judge who found that the interim U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia had been improperly appointed, having skirted approval from the Senate, which is true. Comey's attorneys declined to comment for this story. The former director fell out of favor with Trump before he was first elected president, as Comey's agency investigated the Trump campaign and ties to Russia. Comey was fired in the months after the inauguration. Since his firing, Comey has been an ardent critic of Trump and key enemy of Republicans in the White House on Capitol Hill. I think this is correct. I don't have much to add to that. It's pretty self-explanatory. Now, we are going to talk about Maureen Comey, whose lawsuit still continues. Earlier Tuesday, a judge allowed a lawsuit brought by Comey's daughter, Maureen, a former high-profile federal New York prosecutor challenging her firing from the Department of Justice, to move forward in federal court. Maureen alleges that she was fired as retribution because she is the daughter of the former FBI director. She is seeking back pay and to have her legal fees paid, which seems pretty reasonable. It is clearly political. She worked on some of the most prominent prosecutions by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York, including the prosecution of mogul Sean Diddy Combs, Jeffrey Epstein, and accomplice Ghislaine Maxwell. I'm not going to say it, but and New Jersey Democratic Senator Robert Menendez. On July 16th, 2 weeks after a jury convicted Combs of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, Maureen Comey received an email from Washington informing her that she was fired pursuant to Article 2 of the U.S. Constitution. Okay. So we're going to keep reading about these weaponization efforts. Comey's indictment comes as Blanche has picked up the pace for bringing cases that the president has publicly jockeyed for, which, that makes sense. It's pretty clear that Pam Bondi was fired because she didn't prosecute the political enemies enough. If you don't know what I'm talking about with that, you should probably look it up. That's one of the most rampant theories, along with the fact that she's a woman, and I guess women don't look as good in his mind. In his first week in office, Blanche oversaw the release of the Weaponizing Working Group's first report, one that alleged that Joe Biden's Department of Justice was biased in how it went after abortion protesters. Maybe there's some merit to that. I don't know. I'm not going to talk about that too much. The department fired 4 prosecutors who worked for the cases. He has made changes to the prosecutors, overseeing the investigation of former CIA Director John Brennan, and one of the most important cases to the president. On Tuesday, the Department of Justice has been taking steps that are likely to please Trump. The DOJ is planning to subpoena Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis's bodyguards, according to a person familiar with the investigation. Willis prosecuted Trump and many others over the efforts to change the results of the 2020 election. The Department of Justice also charged a former senior official in the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases with concealing records during the COVID-19 pandemic. Republicans have long gone after officials who led the pandemic response over failures, real and perceived, before leaving office. President Joe Biden pardoned Dr. Anthony Fauci, the biggest target of all, which was a good thing to do, I guess, in the end. We should still have a conversation if presidential powers for pardoning should be toned down or revoked. I think that is a conversation that we should have. Maybe we'll have it one of these days. And I think that will be the end of this video. I know I was just kind of a nothing burger, me reading you the CNN article, but I hope my commentary was helpful. And we'll be debating Trump supporters live tonight. So I hope to see you. Have a good one.